Bismillah. As-salatu wa-salam ala Rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear girls, it's a pleasure to be making this video. I'm just sad that I couldn't be there to meet you all and have this discussion face to face. My name is Naima. You guys can call me Auntie Naima, Naima B. Robert, and I'm a writer. Some of you may have read some of my books. I'm the author of From My Sister's Lips, Boy vs. Girl, From Somalia with Love, Far From Home, and my new one, Black Sheep. I am also the editor of a magazine called Sisters, which is a magazine for fabulous Muslim women, and a new magazine for kids called Discover. I'm asked several questions when I'm required to talk about my writing, and so I guess I'll just go through some of those things with you, give you a bit of background as to who I am, how I started writing, and maybe a bit about my journey to Islam, etc. Okay, well, as some of you may know, if you did your research, if you went on Wikipedia or anything like that, you'll know that I was born of a Zulu mother and a man of Scottish ancestry, is my father, and I was born in Leeds, so near you, I think. Born in Leeds and spent 2 years there, and then went to Ethiopia, and then spent the rest of my childhood up until the age of 18 in a country called Zimbabwe, and that's where I did my schooling. Now, my schooling experience in Zimbabwe was amazing. It was a school that encouraged us to really push ourselves, or I felt that I was allowed to push myself, and I was supported, and I was told to dream big and to basically go for anything that I thought I could do. I was given a lot of freedom to do things that maybe other kids my age wouldn't have done. We started organizations, we started school clubs, we fundraised for our school centenary. I wrote and directed many plays. We did loads of stuff, and that schooling experience really gave me a lot of confidence and made me think that I could do anything I put my mind to. Fast forward a couple of years, I'm in the UK, in East London at university, and bam, Islam comes into my life. And how that happened was that I was actually in Egypt for a festival, and while I was there, I started noticing women in hijab, and to be honest, it freaked me out because I had never really noticed them before, which is kind of strange because obviously I was in East London, so you'd think that I would have noticed all these women walking around in scarf and niqab and these men with beards, but for some reason I didn't really pay attention until I went to Egypt. And when I was there, I was very upset. I disagreed with it. I thought it was an oppression. I thought, these poor women, why do they have to look like that? Who is making them do this? La 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 la. And in the end, alhamdulillah, I actually asked somebody, it's a very nice lady, mashallah, may Allah bless her, with so much good, because really it was what she said to me that started me on my journey towards seeking Islam and seeking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I said to her, after we'd been speaking for a little while, why, you are so beautiful, why do you cover yourself? And she looked at me with this lovely smile, and she had that noor, that some people have just got that noor coming out of their faces. And she smiled at me very kindly, and she said, because I want to be judged for what I say and what I do, not what I look like. And for me, that was the most radical thing that I had ever heard in my life, because nobody had ever said anything like that, or even given me an idea that that was possible. And so after speaking to her, I started looking into Islam. I started noticing Muslims all around me, and I started to read the Quran, and I actually started to put some Islamic ideals and Islamic values into my own life from that stage onwards. After that, shortly after that, I went to Senegal to go and see sort of, a different way of practicing Islam. And while I was there, I fasted, I covered my hair, etc. And then I became Muslim. I took my Shahada when I got back. Went to Regent's Park Mosque and took my Shahada there. This was now in sort of second year of university. I met my husband in my last year, in my third year. And we got married right at the end of my third year, mashallah, alhamdulillah. And I had my first baby the year after. And it was when I had my child that I first got the idea of writing. Believe it or not, the idea of being a writer actually never occurred to me. If somebody had asked me while I was young, what would you like to be when you grow up? I would not have said a writer. I would have said a very wealthy businesswoman. Okay, not a struggling writer. But anyway, when I had my child, I used to take him to the library. And we used to go and get out, mashallah, you can get so many books out of the library in the UK. So we used to take out as many books as we could, and we loved them. But I remember thinking to myself, I wish I could find books about Islam that are as interesting, as beautiful, as inspiring, as exciting as some of these other books that we're reading. And at the time, really, there wasn't anything. So I started writing a few sort of, I guess you'd say, creative books about Islam and Muslim culture, and it just so happened I sent them off, and the first publisher that got back to me wanted to publish my book about the hijab, the swirling hijab. If you've seen that, maybe you've seen it in the library. It's available in English with lots of other languages, Arabic, French, Urdu, Punjabi, all sorts. And it's quite common in libraries around the UK, mashallah. And so that was my first book. And after that, I wrote many other books. And actually, to date, I've written 22 books. A school asked me to count sort of how many I had written, and the final figure was 22. Not all of them are still in print, but the main ones, if you're looking online or if you're interested and you want to find out at the library, the main ones would be The Swirling Hijab, Journey Through Islamic Art is a beautiful one, very close to my heart, alhamdulillah. The latest one is Going to Mecca. These are children's picture books. Ramadan Moon as well, alhamdulillah. And then I've got my novels, From Somalia with Love, Boy vs. Girl, Far From Home, and Black Sheep. And then my book about how I became Muslim and the stories of myself and other converts, reverts, and how we came to the deen. And that is From My Sister's Lips. If you are in high school, I really suggest that you read that, alhamdulillah, because it's a book, mashallah, tabarakallah. Many people have been inspired by it, and it's encouraged them and made them feel a lot of proud and pleasure in being Muslim. So that is, I think, my greatest achievement to date. Is From My Sister's Lips, even though it's not sort of as creative as the others. It's the one I think that's had the biggest impact, and all praise is due to Allah for that. Some of you may know I have 5 children, alhamdulillah. I have 3 boys and 2 girls. The eldest is 13, going on 18. The next one is 9.5. Then I have a 7-year-old, and then a girl who's 4, and a baby who's 8 months. And writing actually works really well when you have kids, because you basically write when they're sleeping, which means that you don't sleep, but sometimes it's worth it. So I write around the kids. The kids inspire me all the time. Many of my best books have come from me wanting to impart a message to them. So alhamdulillah for that. Sisters Magazine, I started that in 2007 with a very good friend of mine, Zakaria, and we began it as a magazine for Muslim women, wanting to encourage us to better ourselves and continue to better ourselves and work on ourselves as Muslim women. So that was Sisters Magazine. Alhamdulillah, it's still out there. It's still doing well. If you want a copy, it's going into newsagents, as we speak. And then there's the new baby, which is Discover, which is my magazine for curious Muslim kids. And this might be for the 6 to 12 age range. We're looking for writers for that. So if any of you have got the idea to write and you'd like to try writing for children, that might be a good place to start. I will give your teacher all the links to get the writer's guide for sisters and also for Discover, so that you can all have a go and see if you would like to basically write something and put it in Discover magazine. I believe the sun is setting. That is why it's getting dark in here. Maghrib time is in. I encourage you, ask you, if you are interested, visit my website, naimabroberts.co.uk. You can read my articles, you can read up on my books, you can email me through that. If you are on Twitter, follow me on Twitter. That is at Naima, capital B, capital R, Robert, Naima B. Robert on Twitter. You can also like me on Facebook. You can join me on Facebook. We have a Facebook page for Sisters Magazine as well, and for Discover. So basically, we're kind of all over the place. If you're on LinkedIn, link up, but you shouldn't be on LinkedIn because you're only kids. So I don't think that you have to do that. But please do get in touch. If you read the books, get back in touch and tell me what you liked and what you didn't like. Review it on Amazon, review it on Goodreads, get your opinion out there. And if you've got any suggestions for how I can improve the stories, how I should, what I should go into next, which book you'd like a sequel to, then please do get in touch, inshallah. And I hope that in the future we'll be able to have a kind of writing competition or something like that, and I can help you guys to improve your writing. Bi'idhnillah, one day I will come to your school and we will write together, inshallah. And until that day, I leave you with salam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.